Okay, guys, so just while we're waiting for the guys to come back in the room, there was reference to uphill and downhill. So if you're not quite sure what we mean by that, it is the lie of the polyp in relation to the mucosal folds. Okay, so uphill is, so this is going to be your anal side, and this is going to be your oral side of the polyp, and your endoscope will be over here. And basically the plane of the mucosa is going uphill. And as it goes in, it goes up and away from you. And this means you've probably got great visualization of the whole polyp. If you embed your snare tip there and push down, you're going to get a good capture of the polyp. And this is technically easier to resect than the opposite. Obviously, the optimal would be having it flat, but we understand that that isn't always possible. The issue when you're downhill is your endoscope is here and you're looking at the front edge of the polyp here. And sadly, what happens is often you put your snare around the front, but actually you end up cutting the back and you leave a cuff at the back. So downhill is technically much more challenging than uphill. And then tip down, plus or minus, I would say it should be down, not up. Tip down, decentralize at 6 o'clock, keep it closed, and then I would say sometimes I will aspirate here, but you need to be careful about this, and I'll come on to that in a moment. So this is what happened. We eventually removed the front edge of it, and then David took over. Does it make any difference? Well, two things can happen. Firstly, you can get what we call snare slippage. Because of the fat in the submucosal plane, if you over-inject, what happens is the snare doesn't engage on the mucosa. And Lob said you can tap the coag button and it will stick a little bit, but nevertheless, you still have this risk of the snare slipping off. And we sometimes see this when we're doing actually cold snares of sessile serrated lesions for the same reason. And the second point was, which size snare do you take? So Peter Yan was going, well, let's take a 20 because we'll get the whole thing in. David was a little bit reluctant to do that. And if you ask him why that was, there's probably multiple reasons. But in general, 2 times 15 is better than 1 times 20, particularly in the cecal pole, particularly over a fold. Because what you don't want to do is fold the mucosa and fold the muscle and end up getting a full thickness perforation. And I said you may need more than 1 snare. And really the workhorse for most EMR for you guys will be 10. For the bigger lesions, we go up to 15. And for piecemeal EMR, this is my weapon of choice, so to speak, my 15mm snare. I think you can use a 20, but as David says, it has to be an experienced hands, because with the jump from 15 to 20, the risk of muscle entrapment and subsequent perforation goes up quite dramatically. So for you guys, get your on blocks with 10. When you're starting to go to piecemeal, we go up to 15.